my first Forbes article, it was pretty cool. It was actually right out of MIT. It was right out of MIT. And so it started with, I was in, obviously a student there, and at MIT, obviously it's not known for humanities. And so I was one of the few humanities students because I was getting a degree in both. So long story, really quick, to summarize my background, I know you guys know a little bit, is I have 3 degrees from MIT. So one in mechatronics, so all the engineering, mechanical, electrical, computers. Then I have one, of course, in quantum engineering, the field I made, but also is in international literature. And so just the way it worked out, because there isn't a quantum engineering department, they put me in the literature department, even though I was studying quantum physics. And so I was, there with maybe 8 kids, and so it was very odd. All of us were very, strange people. We're very huge enigmas. And so it came towards closer to graduation, and they wanted to highlight us for just these quirky MIT people that went to technical school and got a humanities degree. And that started the MIT News thing. And then from there, it's really just started to build steam automatically on its own. At that time, we were very much so into what's called quantum classical simulation. So for those of you who maybe done your deep dive on us, is our core background is in computer science. So I know very much about quantum computing and all that type of stuff. My advisor is Seth Lloyd at MIT, and I've also studied under Scott Aronson.
Okay.
Yeah, really, really cool. He wrote the book, for those who don't know, it's called Quantum Computing Since Democritus. It's like one of the books for quantum. It's like half textbook, half popular science. Really, really cool. And so studying under those guys, it was kind of get to study from the masters. And my twist to it was I wanted to bring it to the masses. I wanted to bring it to people. I wanted to put quantum in your hand in a way in that kind of like Henry Ford-esque type way. One, just something because I really enjoy that, and two, because I like the challenge of it, entrepreneurship, and not just this academic aspect, but also everything involved in getting a product out to market and marketing, bring the team together. So it takes a whole different part of your brain.
What year is this, Ryan, that you're talking
about? Man, so I graduated 2017. So okay. It's been going ever since. Yeah.
So you said with quantum ever since 2017?
Yeah, ever since quantum. But my interest it wasn't just at 2017. It goes back before that. I'm a huge Richard Feynman fan. Huge Richard Feynman fan. And he has a book called The Quantum Man. I read that actually after I got into MIT. I spent a huge amount of time in the library as a kid. And so I read The Quantum Man the summer before I went to MIT. I always loved quantum physics, hence reading a book called Quantum Man. And, the last thing that he basically worked on actually in Boston around MIT was quantum computing, and so that was like, oh, wow, this, so for me, it felt like almost if you were like that Indiana Jones part of the movie where you get the map to the treasure, and the trail went cold and you're trying to pick it back up again. So that's how it felt. It was really cool.
Very cool. So that's like in dinosaur years, most people got into quantum. For me, it was last year, but obviously I worked very hard on it. And just the people that you mentioned, Scott Aronson that you've worked under, said Seth Lloyd too, we got more filing in. Now, how was it? Like, because you were trying to say basically bring quantum computing to the masses back in 2017 and even in 2020. Could you talk a little bit about those challenges as far as?
Oh man, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, for sure. So one is that it was super niche. Let me start there, and I love that. That's cool. But it was one of those things where it's like, oh guys, it's not going to be here for another 100 years. And then fast forward, literally in a period of like 4 or 5 years, I've heard people say never possible to 100 years, to 50 years, to 20 years, to 10 years, to 5 years, to next year, so it's sped up, and so have the expectations and the imagination around it. So that part's been really interesting. For us, I think our challenge was, as going back to the startup aspect of it, was really doing it in the quote unquote the way we wanted to do it as a founder, because I wanted to keep control of the company.